Welcome to Tomiczek's Financial Team, episode number 2 on our YouTube channel. We're happy to be with you, and we've got our in-house expert, as always. Pierre Tomiczek is with us. And today we're going to be talking about everybody's favorite topic, taxes. All right? And it's, we're a few days away, and I'm saying days because by the time you blink, it's going to be the deadline. So, Pierre, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you for having me, Josh.
All right. So, we're talking about taxes. First of all, who are the persons should be filing taxes in Canada?
Actually, pretty much anyone that has income in Canada. Now, having said that, one of the rules of thumb is basically, are you a resident of Canada or a non-resident of Canada? So being a resident of Canada basically means you've been in Canada for 183 days or more. If that's the case, then you have to file an income tax and include your worldwide income. And if you've only been here for less than 183 days, then you're not a resident for tax purposes, and you only have to file income that you've earned in Canada. But the short answer is everyone should file a tax return.
As we know, I'm a student. So should I, as a student, be filing taxes? And if I am filing my taxes as a student who probably hasn't earned any income, what are some of the benefits that I can claim? What are some of the things that I can benefit from filing my taxes as a student in Canada?
Perfect. Great question. So even if you have zero income, it's still to your advantage to file an income tax because, as you mentioned, there's a lot of benefits that are available to individuals who file an income tax. One of them that our federal government gives us is kind of that climate action incentive, now known as the Canada Carbon Rebate.
Okay.
You only get that rebate, which is given on a quarterly basis, if you file an income tax return. Also, there's other benefits that you might be entitled if you have kids, such as the Canada Child Benefit. The only way you could get that subsidy or benefit is if you file a tax return. Another one would be the GST/HST rebate. The only way you get that credit
is if you file your taxes.
Oh, you've heard that song before.
So it's a theme, file your taxes. And of course, the deadline for that is on April 30, that we should be filing our taxes. So again, I'm sticking to student because that's who I know. What about our tuition fees? Are we eligible to claim that on our tax returns?
The answer is yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But you may not want to.
Okay.
Right? It depends on if you make more than $15,000 of income in Canada. Now, if you make less than $15,000 worth of income, you pay no taxes anyway.
Okay.
So you may lose the benefit of including your tuition tax credit on your tax return because you're not going to have the ability to claim it. You just wasted it in that particular aspect. So if you make more than $15,000 part-time, full-time, then yes, you should claim the tuition.
So I should put it on my tax returns, but don't claim the tuition benefits until I earn $15,000.
That is correct. And the beauty about this is that you could carry that forward until such a time that you're making more than $15,000. And at that time, you could apply all of those years' tuition. So tuition from 2022, from 2023, it's now 2027, and now you could claim those 2 years on your 2027 income. So that is a great way.
And it sounds like a great strategy as well to use. So let us say that I work part-time while I'm studying, or I've worked summer, all through summer of last year. How does that affect my taxes?
It all depends on, here's when you start working, regardless part-time or full-time, your employer is going to have you file this form called the TD1. This is to determine how much taxes to take off from your paycheck every 2 weeks. Now, if you don't let your employer know that you have multiple jobs and multiple sources of income, they may take too little taxes. So even though you may have 2 part-time jobs, let the other employer know about the other job, so that way they tax you at the right amount. Because the worst thing that you want to happen is come tax time that you've got to mail a check to Revenue Canada by April 30th. So file the TD1
Right.
properly. And if you don't know how to file it, that's okay. Let the employer know, hey, I'm working elsewhere. I'm working at Tim Hortons and making minimum wage while I'm also working at JISC making $20 an hour. So now let's figure out exactly how much taxes that we're going to do to incorporate those two.
So you mentioned TD1. So that's one of the forms that you're going to use. Are there any other specific forms that you would probably need when filing your taxes?
Definitely. So probably the most important one, if you're earning income, is your T4, and your employer is going to provide you with that T4. Another one is the one we've talked about, that tuition, right? So that would be your T2202. Your college, Humber College, will provide you with that. So all of this information you're going to receive anyway.
Right,
so there's no need to call and say, could I get my T4? Could I get my T2202? The college, your employer is going to provide that to you. And if you're lucky enough that you started to invest, your bank or financial institution is going to provide you with a T3 or a T5. But even having said that, even if you don't have that, there's various software packages such as TurboTax, which I use. So even if you don't have the physical T3s, T5s, T4s, when you go to fill in your forms on TurboTax, there's the ability to autofill, to basically to see exactly all the forms that would be under your name, to basically carry that forward, to upload it. So if you misplace it, you forgot it, you will have the ability to see exactly what does CRA have, and it'll automatically upload. Because one of the things is that when your employer gives you a T4, it also sends a T4 to CRA.
Yeah.
When the college sends you the T2202, it also sends a T2202 to CRA, and so on. So they already have it.
So as international students, we're often persons living in rental properties. We don't own our own properties in Canada. And there are other things that are involved. And we want to minimize our expenses as anybody would, and one of those is probably saving on taxes. So what are some of the strategies that you think that we can implement in order to maximize our tax benefits in Canada as a student?
Again, very good question. So as a student living on residence, or maybe renting your own apartment, you could actually claim on your tax return the rental payments that you're using. Another one would be, I get a lot of international students, you finished your first program, you want to extend your work visas and so on. So you need to maybe do another program elsewhere.
Right.
And a lot of times will be a 1-year program. Now, if you were to, let's say, move to and go to another college, so let's say Conestoga somewhere, down the 401, you could actually claim the moving expenses for you to move from Toronto to, let's say, Windsor, let's say Kingston, Hamilton. As long as it's more than 40 kilometers that you're moving, you could claim a lot of the moving expenses against your income tax. Another one would be if you are married or living common law. We've talked about the tuition, that to carry that forward.
Right.
But if you're living common law or legally married and your spouse is supporting you throughout your education, well, you could actually transfer part of your tuition, up to $5,000, to your spouse, and then the excess you could continue to carry that forward for yourself. Another one, if you are working and generating income and you want to save it into an RRSP, a Registered Retirement Savings Program. Now, what that does is it's twofold. It gives you a tax deduction, which will lower your income, and there's a tax deferral. So whatever the income that you're generating inside that RSP, you don't have to pay tax until you take it out, which will be many, many years in the future. But here's a little tidbit: when they provide you with that tax receipt, where you could actually deduct it against your income. Again, if your income is less than $15,000, you're going to get all the taxes back that you've paid as a refund. So you don't actually need the RSP deduction. You could make your RSP contribution, and Tomiczek Financial will help you to make your RSP contribution. But don't claim it this year. Claim it in the future.
When you start earning.
Exactly, when you're starting to earn income. You could actually carry that forward all the way up to age 71.
Okay.
So that's a great thing. And the government, I know one of the topics we'll probably talk about in future broadcasts is about saving for your first home. Well, the government just came out with the new first home savings account.
Yeah.
So it kind of combines the benefit of an RSP and a TFSA, whereby the income generated in that account is tax-free, but you also get to deduct that against your income tax like an RSP. And lastly, file your income tax.
File it.
By the deadline, which is April 30th.
That's right. So thank you so much. I think we've covered so much, and I think it's important that we understand. File your taxes before April 30. There are many strategies that you can use, and of course, in terms of maximizing your benefits in this tax season, and that's where we're happy to provide this for everyone. So, any final parting words on tax planning?
Well, start early. File your taxes on time, and if you're not certain, speak to a professional. So it could be at your local bank or credit union, or it could also be contact us, right, at Tomiczek Financial. We're here to help you, big or small. There's no question. Yeah, so there's no question, no issues too little or too big for us. We're here to help you.
And that has brought us to the end of video number 2 today for Tomiczek Financial's channel on YouTube. And we're happy to have provided all the advice on tax planning, or some of the advice, not all, and we'll in future provide more for you. Remember to like, subscribe, and share with all your friends so that they can benefit too.